guys like you, and after all this time, still wearing those turtle T-shirts, and come to see me here. It was pretty awesome. It's actually just kind of freaky. It was a huge compliment, but I don't know how to take those things very well. But I do appreciate it. What I guess I want to do, we're going to cover a couple things today, and I wanted to sort of share with you some special memories that I pulled together just for the show, some photographs. I kind of picked 25 photographs for the 25 years of the Turtles. A lot of it's from the early days because, Peter and I, that was sort of, when Peter and I first started working together, and I'll give you a short, how the Turtles were born and all that stuff quickly, and then show you some of these photos. That's actually where we lived, when we actually created the Turtles. But Peter and I, we actually, a lot of people don't realize, we only did like 16, 17 issues together. Actually, where we were sitting in the studio, passing the pages back and forth, talking about the ideas, doing the layouts, the whole thing, and really living the dream of being a comic book artist. And then we were kind of blessed really early on with the Turtles graduating from a comic book to, all the things that the rest of the world saw, which is the animated stuff and the movies and all that stuff, which was awesome. But we went from a very short period of time of being comic book artists that were drawing probably 90% of the time and doing business 10% of the time to literally within a year span from 1987 to 1988 to doing business 90% of the time and drawing 10% of the time. And it was kind of trippy because you think, I think back that for the first comic book I saw, Jack Kirby, Community, that kind of stuff, was my biggest influences, my biggest inspirations. That's all I ever wanted to do. So the first comic book I do become so successful thanks to you guys that now I don't get to draw anymore. No, but it's coming close to it. That's why I do all those amazing drawings at the booth when you guys come by. I'm just great friends. So for a lot of you, again, a lot of you guys that don't know, I'm skipping all over the place here. The Turtles really started as a joke. It was probably the biggest heist in comic book history as far as Peter and I sort of being children of comics, reading and digesting every kind of comic book. We had our favorites, Jack Kirby and that kind of stuff. And when we were sitting around the studio, not actually making any money, so it was late one night. And Peter used to watch some of the worst TV shows in the world, in my opinion. Stuff like the A-Team, T.J. Hooker, that kind of stuff. And so I considered it my job to annoy him as much as possible while he was doing that. And so late one night, I did this sketch of a turtle standing there, had a mask on, he had nunchuck straps to his arms, and dubbed it Ninja Turtle. I kind of tossed it on his desk, and he cracked out. He thought it was great. In the studio, one-upmanship kind of thing. He had to do a sketch to top my sketch. So he did the sketch, made it a little bit more like a turtle, smaller, more pea-like. And of course, I had to one-up him, so I did this pencil drawing of 4 turtles standing there. Each one had a different weapon. And I did it in pencil, and I did this Ninja Turtle title block over the head, and I gave it to Pete. And he inked it in. And when he inked it in, he added the Teenage Mutant part. And, we were just beside ourselves. We laughed. We said, "This is the dumbest thing we could think of." And it really was. I mean, we took, we were inspired by, Frank Miller's Ronin, which you can see everything Frank Miller ever did in Daredevil. Teenage Mutants were very popular, the New Mutants, what Wilson Kevich and everybody was doing. One of our big inspirations, self-publishing, was a guy named Dave Sim, was doing this book called Cerebus. In the early issues of Cerebus, he used to draw this little aardvark that acted like Conan the Barbarian, drawn like Barry Smith. And so the next day when we realized, well, we don't have any distracting painting work, let's try to come up with an idea of how these turtles got to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that was in November of 1983. We started working on the book. We finished the book, I think, in February 1984. And I took a $500 income tax return that I had. We cleaned out all $200 Pete had in his bank account. We then didn't have enough money to print copies, so I borrowed $1,000 from an uncle. And we had enough copies to print, enough money to print 3,000 copies at a local printer. And we're quite positive we wouldn't even sell those. And fortunately we did. Those sold out quickly. The orders kept coming in. We sold another 6,000, and then we had this tremendous, sort of thing that sort of hit us. Well, we never really thought of any stories beyond issue 1. I didn't think that would sell, it would go anywhere. So we figured, well, let's try to figure out story 2, and that's where we introduced April and all these characters. So essentially, it was a really happy accident, and I remember that, for us, the dream really came true in January of 1985 when we got the orders for the second issue of the Turtles. We had pre-orders of 15,000 copies, which Pete did the math. He's better at math than me. still is. We figured that we could each make $2,000 a piece. If we did 6 of these a year, we'd actually have enough money to pay our rent, draw comics full time, and that was pretty much it. That was the day I quit working in kitchens and hospital kitchens and doing all these odd jobs. I was able to draw full time, and that's really where the dream came true, I think, for both of us. Pretty awesome. But and that's, you know, then the rest will cover some of that later. But I just want to show you some pictures that I think are kind of funny, and it's sort of, again, the Turtles' 20th anniversary. I've been coming to San Diego since 1986, so it's my 24th anniversary coming here. And so again, some of the pictures I picked out are on that. So for this first picture I picked out, this is the house in Dover, New Hampshire. There's a little street called Union Street in Dover, New Hampshire. This is where Pete and Janine lived, and they had a roommate that moved out when I finished my summer job cooking lobsters. And they asked me to move in, and this is where the first drawings of the Turtles were done. This is where the first issue was done. This is where it all happened. And that's the original thing. This is actually my chair in the studio. Can you see this all right? Yeah. Want to turn the lights down a little bit? Yeah. Good. That way you can't see me blush as much, too. So. There we go. There you go. Yeah, this is where we actually came up with the Turtles. Pete used to have a overstuffed chair like this one. This is mine, obviously. And we just have these lap boards. We'd sit there with a pillow and have these lap boards. And this is where we'd actually draw the books. It's like, you know, how we work together is like basically Peter and I would talk about the story. I did all the initial layouts pretty much for most of the work we did together. And then because our art styles were slightly different, we try to put some of each of us on every single page. So after we did the layouts, we'd enlarge them on a photocopier, then lightbox them, and then with both pencil and ink, keep passing the pages back and forth until there was something of both of us on each page. That's it. Humble beginnings. This is one of my favorites. When the first issue of the Turtles came in, like I said, we printed 3,000 of them. We had no idea how to sell them, what we were going to do with them. We felt that there was a comic book newspaper called the Comics Buyer's Guide, and we had enough money left over from the printing to buy a $150 ad. We were going to sell them $1.50 per copy plus 50 cents postage. And we didn't, again, think we'd sell any of them, so we had made some of them into, these are stacked on living ways, some into coffee tables, some into end tables, stacked in boxes afraidedly. And we were very lucky that we started getting calls from these distributors all over the country and said that, you know, we've got people going into comic stores asking for your gloves as a Turtles book, so a lot of them couldn't say the title, but that's awesome. Next is... there. That cute. Looked like Daryl Hall and John Oates or something. This was actually at the, we premiered the first issue May 5th at the Dover, New Hampshire Comic-Con. I mean, literally, some of the signs we made, we duct taped them to the wall. It was some of the first color illustrations in the Turtles. My God, it's my mother. Hold on, please. Yes, I'm doing good, Mom. Yes, call you back later. No, so yeah, this is actually the first. This is where the Turtles premiered, the first issue. I think we sold like 20 copies, but that was mostly to my father, my mother were there, my cousins. 25 years ago. This is, after we did the first issue in Dover, New Hampshire, Peter and Janine moved down to Sharon, Connecticut. I followed shortly thereafter. After the first issue of the Turtles, I still went back to work my summer job cooking lobsters. So I got to torture lobsters for another whole summer. When we finished that, that's when we moved down to Dover, New Hampshire to work on the second issue. And again, using the lapboard system. This is Peter's studio down there, so we were working on that. That's crazy how young I look. It's crazy. The next one, this is actually similar to the first one. We didn't know how we would ship and distribute the books when they first came in, so we had 15,000 copies of the book printed. We actually had all 15,000 copies shipped to the house. So the house was pretty much consumed with them, and then we'd ship them out like 5 or 6 boxes at a time through UPS until we get them out the door, and then we figured out, you know, there's other ways of shipping. You know, we edited the whole thing pretty naive on how any of this stuff works, and we got pretty lucky. This is genius. This is the first comic convention we went to was in Atlanta. We met some of the people who we're still friends with today. People like Bob McLeod and Mike Barron, Steve Rude, a lot of guys that we'd never been to an actual comic book show, and so I came up with this game one of the first shows. It's called bed diving, so you catch the guy in mid-flight. So this is back. Look at that. I had no gut then. I'm like, God. Here it is. This is our first year in San Diego. There's Pete standing across from the Civic Center. When we first came here to San Diego, the convention hotel used to be the Hotel San Diego, where the roaches would carry up your luggage. Most of downtown still had tattoo parlors and topless places and things like that, and it's changed so much. I remember this year, I think they were hoping to have 9 or 10,000 people show up. That would be a successful show.